move forward.
Yeah.
The red press will remove his quickly, move forward.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We'll sit next to Maharaj. Sure, he doesn't harm you, I'm sure.
Go to the
Huh?
Isn't that what it?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm going to read a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam for the fourth canto. Which is the third chapter. And it's talked between Lord Shiva and Sati. Sattvam Vishudam, 23. Text 23. Sattvam Vishudam Vasudeva Shabditam Tati Te Tatcha Umam Apavritaha Sattve Chatasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Yadoksha Jome Namasa Vidiyate. Translation. I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudeva in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. We can repeat that together. I am always engaged in offering obeisance to Lord Vasudeva. In pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness. In which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. The Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Shiva Prabhupada. The living entity is constitutionally pure. Asangro I am Purushaha. In the Vedic literature, it is said that the soul is always pure and uncontaminated by material attachment. The identification of the body with the soul is due to misunderstanding. As soon as one is fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that one is in his pure original constitutional position. This state of existence is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that it is transcendental to the material qualities. Since this Shuddha Sattva existence is under the direct action of the internal potency, in the state of activities of material consciousness, in this state, the activities of material consciousness stop. For example, when iron is put in fire, it becomes warm and then red hot. And although it is iron, it acts like fire. Similarly, when copper is surcharged with electricity, its action as copper stops. It acts as electricity. Bhagavad Gita 14:26 also confirms that anyone engaged in unadulterated devotional service to the Lord is at once elevated to the position of pure Brahman. Mamchayo vivichrena bhakti yogena sevate sargunam samatikyetam rama bhuyaya kalpate. Therefore, Shuddha Sattva, as described in this verse, is the transcendental position, which is technically called Vasudeva. Vasudeva is also the name of the person from whom Krishna appears. This verse explains that the pure state is called Vasudeva because in that state Vasudeva or Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed without any covering. To execute unadulterated devotional service, therefore, one must follow the rules and regulations of devotional service without desire to gain material profit by fruitive activities or mental speculation. In the pure devotional service, or in pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a matter of duty, without reason and without being impeded by material conditions. That is called Shuddha Sattva, or Vasudeva. Because in that stage, the Supreme Person Krishna is revealed in the heart of the devotee. Srila Jiva Goswami has very nicely described this Vasudeva, or Shuddha Sattva, in his Bhagavat Sandarbha. He explains that Astotra Shata 180 is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in Shuddha Sattva, or in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. The word Vasudeva is also used for other purposes. For example, Vasudeva also means one who is everywhere, all-pervading. The sun is also called Vasudeva Shabditam. The word Vasudeva may be utilized for different purposes, but whatever purpose we adopt, Vasudeva means the all-pervading, localized Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 7:19, it is also stated Vasudeva Sarvamiti. Factual realization is to understand Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and surrender to him. Vasudeva is the ground where Vasudeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed. When one is free from the contamination of material nature and is situated in pure Krishna consciousness, or the Vasudeva state, Vasudeva, the Supreme Person, is revealed. This state is also called Kaivalya, which means pure consciousness. Jnanam Sattvikam Kaivalyam. When one is situated in pure transcendental knowledge, one is situated in Kaivalya. Therefore, Vasudeva also means Kaivalya, a word which is generally used by impersonalists. The impersonalist Kaivalya is not the last stage of realization, but in Krishna consciousness, Kaivalya, when one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one is successful. In that state, by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc., because of the development of knowledge of the science of Krishna, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these activities are under the guidance of the internal energy of the Supreme Lord. So we'll stop there. It's a long quote. We'll read the rest later. Om Ganti Vinandasya Vikanandana Sharakaya Chakshura Vishwanathakaya Tasmai Shri Guru Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charya Nirvishesha Sundavari Paschatya Shikari. Anybody first time to this temple? Okay. You've been to a temple before though? It's not the first Hare Krishna temple you've been to, is it? Is it? It is?
They just newly arrived in UK.
I just newly arrived in UK.
Can't remember.
They just arrived to UK.
Oh, you've been to a Hare Krishna temple before?
Yes.
That's all. Well, it's the same wherever you go, it's not different. Same language, same subject. Vasudev, it's all pervading. It says in this verse, Krishna consciousness. So this is a prayer by Lord Shiva. You know, in India, they have many gods. Lord Shiva, Brahma, Ganesh, Ganapati, Krishna, Ram, Hanuman. So many, but very few people understand who's the actual Supreme. Vishnu also. So here we, and Lord Shiva finally. So Lord Shiva is very, this is Shiva Ratri today, by the way. Oh, yesterday,
It
wasn't
was
it?
yesterday.
Yesterday. And so on Shiva Ratri is the marriage of Lord Shiva to Parvati. And so it's very well celebrated on Shivratri. So many people come to the temple who don't come usually. Because Lord Shiva is very popular, is he? Is Lord Shiva very popular? Why? He gives the bones.
Very merciful.
And everybody's happy. And therefore, you know, he's so merciful. He's so merciful that he even takes, he allows persons who are more or less, completely sunk in the mode of ignorance to advance in life. It's difficult to do that. You know, with equals we can have a relationship. With superiors we know where we stand. With inferior, it's like, you can't be bothered. Is that right? That's just a lack of mercy. But Lord Shiva is so merciful that he can actually tolerate everything and he can actually raise people to a higher standard. And so therefore, people take advantage of that. And, when somebody's merciful, there's always unscrupulous people who think, oh, let's see what we can get. So that's the material world. And people take shelter of Lord Shiva to see what they can actually obtain. Material boons. And Lord Shiva is, when somebody satisfies him by just acknowledging him or rendering a little bit of service, then he's so satisfied. You know, Lord Shiva is the superintending deity. He's the deity in control of the false ego. What's the false ego? The false ego means, I think I'm the body. And this is the beginning of ignorance. How many kinds of ignorance are there? First one is, I think I'm the body. And this is the biggest thing. If we think with the body, then we're finished. If we think with the body, we'll do everything to satisfy the body. Everything will be centered around us. And so that's the antipathy of spiritual life. And so when we think with the body, this is the first stage. What comes next? Ignorance too. We try to enjoy it. We try to enjoy the body. We try to enjoy everything in relationship to it. Even my family. Is that selfish? Family, my family, my nation. You know, my world, my universe. It seems like very altruistic. Yeah, but it's not. It means it's all mine. So we try to enjoy everything in creation ultimately. And then what's the third stage of ignorance?
When we think I'm God.
Eh?
When we think I'm God.
Well, that's ignorance, yeah. But, I mean, that's not the five in the Bible accounts. Fear, isn't it? If we think with the body, we'll become fearful. As soon as we think with the body, what do we have to do? We have to feed it, we have to protect it. So there's so many things just to actually look after it. And we're always fearful whether those things will be there. Is that right? Will I have a job tomorrow? You know, will I be alive tomorrow sometimes? And will I get food tomorrow in some countries? Or in, you know, more sophisticated countries like the West, we're thinking about more subtle things, more subtle sense enjoyment. And then what's the next one? Another kind of ignorance. To lament. Does anybody lament? We lament over things which are, you know, we want to change, but things we could have done better. Hankering or lamenting. We lament about, if I had only had done this, if only I had done this. And, you know, we're also looking into the future and we're aspiring for things which we may be able to enjoy. So this is the fourth kind of ignorance. And the last one is, what's the last one? Well, everybody's frightened of it. Death. Fear of death. Because then everything's finished. So all these are big illusions. We're not the body. We can't enjoy the body, even though we try. What's the next one? Fear. There's nothing to be frightened of. Jivera Swarabhaya Krishna Nitida. Lament. What's the point? We can't change anything that's happened. There's no point lamenting. And last one, you know, the body changes. That's all. We carry on. So these are all different types of ignorance, and we're all to some degree afflicted by that. But Lord Shiva here is praying that he's always in Vasudeva consciousness. There's Vasudeva and Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Krishna's father, and Vasudeva is another name for Krishna. So what's the main thing is that from Vasudeva, his father, Krishna appears. He gives a seed to Devaki. So from that consciousness, Vasudeva consciousness, by focusing on the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness, then we become fully Krishna conscious and we are actually able to reciprocate with the Supreme Lord. So this is our process that Lord Chaitanya gave us, and that Srila Prabhupada spoon-fed us. He made the process just suitable for this particular time, place and circumstance. And so Lord Shiva is called Vaishnava, what's it called? Vaishnava Vitarshambhu. He's the Supreme Vaishnava. There's nobody more dear to the Supreme Lord than Lord Shiva. And so Lord Shiva is not satisfied by anybody who who approaches him for anything but devotional service. Because he's the Supreme Vaishnava, his whole purpose is to actually bring people to become a devotee, to raise people to that standard. So when the Prachetas were sons of what's his name? Prachinabarisha, yeah. And being a king, he wanted to make sure he had heirs to the throne. That's the first duty. Well, it's not the first duty, but it's one of the duties which is really always on the back of the mind. When I get older, I don't want to be staying in this situation till I leave this world. I want to leave the latter part of my life for self-realization. And so, the duty. In fact, what's the duty of a marriage? What's the reason for a marriage? It's to have a son. If we have a son, the son will carry on from where we left off, and the son prays for the parents when they leave this world. It's called the Shraddha ceremony. So if we have a son, we're very fortunate. We can be delivered from any difficulty when we leave this world, and also we'll carry on the particular family routine. So the king is similar, same thing. A king wants to have a son so that he can leave his post and take the self-realization fully and leave a good son in charge. So he had 10 sons, all the Prachetas, and he sent them into the forest to practice austerities. Why? Because to purify the consciousness, to bring Vasudeva consciousness. And then when the consciousness is pure, then we can take to Krishna consciousness. When the consciousness is pure, then we can think of the benefit of others. When the consciousness is pure, then we can actually elevate others. So that's the first duty of the king. And so they went into the forest, and they were given, well, they weren't given anything at first. They were just performing austerities. And then at some point, Lord Shiva, he was so satisfied with them. He came out of the water. There was this pure lake with lotuses on, and sweet smell of honey, bumblebees. It was such a beautiful. It was at the base of Mount Kailash. And as they approached the lake, all of a sudden they saw some ripples. And poof, Lord Shiva came out of the lake with all his consorts, all his followers, and they were smiling, and he started glorifying the Prachetas. He said, I'm so satisfied with you, that you're devotees, and he paid his respects to them. And they could understand who Lord Shiva was. And there's a whole section on this etiquette between the devotee and Lord Shiva. So, the relationship between Lord Shiva and the devotee is very, very prominent, because that's the duty of Lord Shiva, to raise people from the mode of ignorance to become devotees. And eventually, he gave them a mantra to chant. And with that mantra, they could achieve perfection. He talked about the process of devotional service, by which they could perfect their lives and then raise their citizens to also perfect their life. So if we really want to, please Lord Shiva, there's only a devotee can do that, really. just by following this process of devotional service, Lord Shiva becomes extremely satisfied. Because otherwise, an expansion of Lord Vishnu. Shiranya tada divikara vishesha yoga sanjayatena tatapitarasta etu sambutam apitata samapaichakarya govinda madipurusham tamaham jami. This is a verse from the Brahma Samhita. He's explaining how Lord Shiva is no different from Lord Vishnu, just as yogurt is no different from milk. I mean, there is a difference, but there isn't. But there's no difference. In other words, we put a little bit of tamarind or a little bit of lemon juice or citric acid, put it into the milk, we boil it, then it separates. So it's the same substance in a different form. And so in that form, Lord Shiva contacts this material world. He says that when Lord Vishnu appears, he never contacts the material world. There's nothing to stop him doing that, of course. He's the Supreme Lord. But, Lord Shiva is the expansion of Lord Vishnu, who contacts the material world and sets the whole thing in motion. He's the superintendent deity of false ego, but he's also the husband of Durga Devi. So Durga Devi is the material energy personified. And so Lord Shiva is the master of this material world. Is that right? You agree, ladies? Lord Shiva is the master. But sometimes, in family life, it's not always so straightforward, is it? Is it? Sometimes it's not so straightforward, because when Durga Devi, she's an individual, and she's a devotee also, but sometimes she becomes extremely angry at the sinful living entities in this world. And so at that time, she starts to actually, I don't know what dance they call, but she starts to, decapitate all the demons. And this explains that this is in the form of wars. Durga Devi is acting in that way, in the form of so many destructive influences in this material world. And she becomes so angry that it just carries on and carries on. And eventually Lord Shiva has to pay his prostrate obeisances to Durga Devi, so that she'll actually stop. So if we take shelter of Lord Shiva, we can also become, protected from the influence of Durga Devi with material energy. But Lord Shiva is actually, in this verse we're speaking, he's actually taking shelter of Lord Krishna, of Lord Vishnu and then Lord Krishna. So if you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ete Shamsha Kalapum Shah, Krishna's true Bhagavan Swayam. The true Bhagavan is Krishna. If we take shelter of Lord Krishna, then we're satisfying Lord Shiva. So this is the Tattva of Lord Shiva. It is simultaneously the same but different from the Supreme Lord. Sometimes Lord Shiva is called Bhagavan. Is that right? Bhagavan Lord Shiva. So why is that? There's only one Bhagavan, is that right? So why does Lord Shiva get the name? So in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains that Bhagavan is sometimes even given to somebody like Lord Indra. Bhagavan means one exceptionally powerful person. And when one's empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one can also be called Bhagavan in certain circumstances. What's another example? Atma. What does Atma mean? What? Soul. Hands up, who says soul? Hands up, who says it's something else?
Also means mind.
mind,
Body.
and body. So in different circumstances, the word Atma will be used for the body, for the mind, and the soul. So Lord Shiva is sometimes called Bhagavan. And what are Lord Shiva's qualities? These are explained in the pastime of Daksha. Daksha is the one of the Prajapatis, the son of Brahma, is it? Son of Brahma, or is it Swayambhu Brahma? I don't remember. Anyway, he's one of the chief Prajapatis. And so Prajapati means that they're actually competent to create population of different species to, to populate the whole universe. And therefore he's very good looking, is that right? He's really handsome. And he effulgence, so much effulgence. Because it's effulgence that makes us beautiful, is it? What makes a person beautiful? Kindness. Who said that? Disembodied voice.
Kindness to everyone, kind to everyone. Yeah. It's not externally, it's just
It's physically beautiful. What makes a person physically beautiful? A little bit of yeah. Like this. These help. But it's not, it's the effulgence of the person. It's not necessarily the features so much, although the features are there. A person's effulgent, they become very attractive. This is why devotees are attractive. First temple I came to was Manchester Temple. They didn't have a temple then, it was in the university. They used to have a program every week, every Sunday. And the first devotee I saw was Ranchar. Does anybody know Ranchar? When I saw him, I thought, I said, he's like glowing. His face really beaming. I'd never seen anybody so effulgent. And I was really attracted. And so Daksha's like that. He's very, very attractive. But when we're attractive, it makes us a little bit, what's the word?
Arrogant.
What's that word?
Arrogant.
Arrogant, proud, same thing. We become a little bit, self-conscious instead of Krishna conscious. And so he had one daughter, Sati. He had many daughters actually. And Sati was the youngest. And so Sati, against Lord Shiva, Lord Daksha's inclination, she married Lord Shiva. And Daksha, being an opulent person with so many, nice dresses and jewellery and gold, he was thinking, why is my daughter being married to somebody like that? He's covered in ashes. He's always meditating. He doesn't do anything. Always meditating. And he was actually ashamed that Lord Shiva was his son-in-law. So Lord Chaitanya prays actually that three things that are actually detrimental for our spiritual advancement. One is attraction to the opposite sex. One is, what's the other one? Fame and adoration. And the last one is wealth. And so, because of that wealth, Lord Daksha lost his intelligence. Jayato vishayam pumsha sangap cheshu bhujayate. Sangap sanjayate kama kroja vijayate. When we're actually self-conscious and thinking about satisfying our mind and senses, then we lose, automatically the intelligence becomes covered and we become fixed in material consciousness. And so Lord Shiva is an emblem of that. When we look at Lord Shiva, we should understand that he's the emblem of renunciation. And he's reminding us that, internally we should actually be like that. We shouldn't be proud of anything that we've got. Because as soon as we become a little bit proud, then we lose the plot. We can't be Krishna conscious. The first step in devotional life is humility. When we plant a seed, the first thing we do is plant it in humus. And humus is the Latin word for humility. And we water that plant, we water that humus, and then a nice strong plant grows. So in devotional life, it starts with humility. And if we actually have that humility to hear from the right sources, then our devotional creeper grows very nicely. But Daksha, even though he was an exalted demigod, demigods are actually devotees. They're devotees of Lord Krishna. But this influence of the material energy is so powerful. And Lord Shiva became influenced by that material. Lord Daksha became influenced by that opulence of the material world, and he started to look on others who were actually less, or seemingly less qualified externally, in a derogatory way. And so this pastime explains how eventually he became so angry with Lord Shiva. Why did he become angry? There was a sacrifice, and Lord Shiva is one of the main demigods in the sacrifice. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Daksha is one of the main priests, one of the main Prajapatis. So Lord Brahma was there, Lord Shiva was there. The assembly was full. They're ready to start the sacrifice, and then Lord Daksha came with his entourage. And he says that when he walked into that assembly, he actually lit up the whole place. He was so effulgent. And so everybody stood up to offer him respects. And except Lord Brahma. Why did Lord Brahma not offer him respect? Because he's his father. And then, and Lord Shiva didn't offer his respects. He's his son-in-law. So, is that right? Should he offer respect? Should a devotee offer respects to his wife's father? Yeah?
Yes.
Sure. Especially if he's a devotee. If he's a devotee, definitely. But what if he's not a devotee? So, did he do the right thing, Lord Shiva? It seems like he didn't. But actually, it's described in the purport that he was offering respects to the super soul. He wasn't on the bodily platform. So the devotee, he offers respects to everybody. He didn't externally show that, but he'd already offered respects to everybody in that assembly. So this is the nature of Lord Shiva. He's the most elevated personality, but he's the most humble. So our meditation for today, or for yesterday anyway, we can carry on that meditation today as well, and actually for the rest of the year until next Shiva Ratri, is that, try and understand Lord Shiva's real position. And we can learn so much from Lord Shiva, so much from his activities within Srimad Bhagavatam, and from his tattva, from his position and his situation as a devotee of the Lord. He's given us, just by his demeanour, we can become a Vaishnava. And if we get Lord Shiva's mercy, then, we can very easily progress on the path of devotional service. So this day is very auspicious for devotees. It's not just benedictions, as we said at the beginning of the class. Lord Shiva appears and everybody wants, what they call Ashirvad, is it? Everybody wants. Well, actually, that type of benediction is useless. But those who are actually praying for the benediction of becoming pure devotee of the Lord, just like Lord Shiva, then that's Lord Shiva's real blessing. Just like there's one demon, what do you call him? Vrikasura. Have you heard of Vrikasura? He was a demon by nature, and demons usually want to actually become powerful in this world. And so he's sort of an intelligent demon, like Vrikasura, Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, any others, Kamsa. They're actually called intelligent demons because they understand the process of, becoming powerful. And so this Vrikasura, he understood Lord Shiva's position, and so, he started to worship him very, very devoutly. And Lord Shiva, he doesn't appear very easily. If you notice at the beginning of this class, he said Lord Shiva, he came out of the water to greet the Prachetas. It wasn't an effort, because they were devotees. But Vrikasura, he was undergoing so much austerity. And at one point, when Lord Shiva still didn't appear, he started cutting his own flesh off and putting it into the sacrificial fire. And Lord Shiva still didn't appear. And so then he thought, well, I'll just cut my head off. So he was about to cut his own head off. And then Lord Shiva came and wait a minute. He says, you don't have to do that. He said, what do you want? And Vrikasura, being an intelligent demon, he asked for something really, really good, well, I want that everybody's head what I touch with my finger, it will split into 1,000 pieces. And Lord Shiva was shocked. And, but, he thought, well, he's asked for it, so, and out of mercy, he gave him that benediction. And so then Vrikasura wanted to try it out. So first he looked at Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva realized, and he started running, and Vrikasura was, and eventually, he came to Lord Krishna, where Lord Krishna was sitting, and Lord Krishna said, what's the matter? He said, I'm just giving a benediction to this demon, that anybody's head is touched will burst into 1,000 pieces. I said, but he's wanting to touch my head. And Lord Krishna said, just leave him up to me. So, Lord Shiva carried on, and then this Vrikasura came by with his finger. And so where you going? Lord Krishna was just a little boy. Little boys can get away with things, so he could approach him quite easily. And he said, where are you going? He said, what are you doing? He says, I've just been, given a benediction from Lord Shiva that whoever's head I touch with my finger, it'll burst into 1,000 pieces. And Lord Krishna started laughing. He said, do you believe that? And he said, why not? Lord Shiva was very powerful. He said, you see, you don't believe what Lord Shiva says. He's got no power at all. Your finger's useless. And, he started talking to him for a while. He says, well, I tell you what, just, instead of trying to catch Lord Shiva, just touch your own head. And of course, Lord Krishna covered him by the yoga, Maha Mayapurvanti, and I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And that was the end of Vrikasura. So anyway, what we learn from this is that ultimately, if we ask for a material benediction from Lord Shiva, it'll backfire. We try to enjoy anything materially, and it'll leave us with a really sour experience in due course of time. But the material energy is so powerful. Everything looks so enjoyable. So we praise Lord Shiva to make us into, or help us to become a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. And then this is Lord Shiva's satisfaction, and this is our perfection also. So we can stop there. We finish at 2. That's what Oh, that's all just coming from, right? It's not bad.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Just do it from here. Hare Krishna. His Holiness Dayananda Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Maharaj, thank you so much for the wonderful class. Maharaj very nicely highlighted that how Lord Shiva can be pleased very easily. Yes, so he came out of the waters to give nice benediction to Prachetas because they're planning to worship, they're going to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna. So I'm sure Lord Shiva will bless all of you here. So thank you so much, Maharaj. So very welcome to our temple. Really appreciate all of you for taking your time out to be with us. So every Sunday we have this same structure. We'll begin with Aarti, followed by discourse on Bhagavad Gita and on Vedic literature. And after that we will do a standing kirtan, followed by sumptuous prasadam. And we also have a youth program and kids program going on regularly. And we also offer various courses and also have a mentorship system in place. If you would like to progress further, you can join one of the mentors. So today's feast is sponsored by our dear Lakshman Prabhu and his good wife Meena Mataji on the occasion of their son's birthday, 14th birthday. Hopefully we will try and cut a cake at the end. So let us shower your blessings by chanting one Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lakshman Prabhu and Meena Mataji, they have been part of our family and they do all the lineal service in the temple, and he also helps me in the finance side in the temple. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Really appreciate it. One or two quick announcements. March 7th is a special day for us. It is day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hello, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki Jai. So he is not different from Radha and Krishna. So you can see there are 5 personalities in the picture. Left side on your left center is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is not different from Radha and Krishna. His appearance day is on the 7th March. It's a Tuesday. He's celebrating that in Jain Samaj, where we can accommodate 1,000 people. So you can bring all your friends and family members and join us. So we'll send out the communication shortly, but it will be evening program there because it's a working day. So we'll have a special guest as well during that time. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He's a very expert monk. He's been there in ISKCON for a long time. Very, very scientific. He has a journal called The Scientist, I think, Spiritual Scientist. He runs it. So he'll be with us during that time. Please spread the message and bring you near and dear. Thank you. So Madhav Kumar Prabhu has got one announcement to make. So you can make it from there.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So this is an extension of what we do for youth and children. Every time there is a term break, we try and cater to our younger congregation members, the school-going kids. So next week is the term break in some schools in Manchester. So we organized a 5-session Bhagavad Gita course on the 5 themes from the Bhagavad Gita. The minimum is 7-8 years, but there's no upper age limit. So if you feel up for it, and you can spare an hour between 10 and 11, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday next week, please register with me outside in the next room. It'll be a very informative, interactive session aimed at children, but no restrictions for anybody who wants
No one
to.
is barred.
No one is barred. There's a very, very nominal fee to cover the admin expenses for the 5-day, 1-hour session. Okay, so anybody keen, please have a chat. Hare Krishna. Online, yes. Zoom online, yes. You'll be given a username, password to log in, and we'll keep you posted. The sessions will be recorded if you're not able to attend but you want to register. that's also available as an option. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes. That's it. Now we'll have standing kirtan. Maharaj, you going out, isn't it now?
Yeah, we're going out. So,
Okay. So Shailesh Prabhu, I think, he'll be leading the kirtan.